the Seattle Seahawks, who won the frickin' Super Bowl, owned by a woman. And I thought, well, isn't this fantastic? And I don't really know the full story. I think her brother owned it.
I do.
Do you
and
know?
I have an
You
even
know the story.
better part of this story. You're going to love it. So her name is Jody Allen, and she is the late Paul Allen's sister. So it was owned by his family. Oh, here's the best part. Like, Super Bowl winning team, like, you were never as valuable as then. So she decided to sell the team, but here's the kicker. She's donating all the proceeds to Philanthropy. Mic drop.
Okay. Can somebody explain to us on this podcast how it is the matriarchy? How is the matriarchy not a fucking thing? The way that women lead our world would be in such a better place if we would just the men would step aside and just let the women lead. Bring on the matriarchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like the current system is working, for God's sakes.
Welcome to Drinks with the Girls. Conversations for women over 40 around connection, change, and the power of female friendship. Living well with stories to tell. I'm Karen, and this is Lisa.
We are moms and solopreneurs stepping into our own, diving into real conversations about things that matter to women in midlife.
We're here to spill the tea on everything that affects women in their 40s and beyond. Topics like loss and grief, changing relationships, launching kids, menopause, and reinventing ourselves in midlife. We are here to tackle it all.
Connect with us through a blend of our lived experiences, our friendship, the memory of our moms, plus a collection of real stories, honest conversations, and engaging interviews that will make women over 40 feel seen and remind them that they're not alone on this journey called life. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Drinks with the Girls. We are so glad you're here for this episode because it piggybacks on an episode we did right after the Winter Olympics about women in sports. So
Which y'all loved. You loved it.
So I'm just going to leave it there. I tonight am drinking a sparkling hop tea. Lisa has inspired me with her little hop sparkles and whatnot, but this is a combo green tea and hops, and the jury is still out.
Okay.
I
maintain it's the tea part of it. I've never had the hops in the tea, so I don't know. Sometimes, I don't know. In my mind, some flavors are just meant not to combine.
Don't combine, yes.
Well,
what are you drinking?
I spent today in my happy place, because I had the day off from work, gardening. So I am rocking, I fed a Pabst Blue Ribbon to the slugs that have been eating my garden plants, and so I wasn't really in the mood for beer after that. So I'm just rocking ice water, but it is in my amazing water bottle that I take with me everywhere with my Wonder Woman unicorn sticker that I just freaking love, and my manatee on the back. So,
very cute.
Points for pretty.
So I am traditionally not a horse race fan. I love horses, but I'm not a horse race fan.
Same,
but
there's feelings about.
No, it's we can
y'all
dive
just
into
to set the expectations. So when we rode, kind of just in general, the you don't even get on a horse's back until they're 3.5, briefly 4, and they're like put out. These guys are put out to pasture by 4 and ridden by 2. So it's.
And their bodies are destroyed. And then sometimes they literally have to be destroyed because of the abuse that they suffer because of horse racing.
But anyways,
that's not what this is about.
No.
I found myself, and I don't know if any of you listeners out there were the same, but I was obsessed with the Kentucky Derby winner, the trainer, and the horse, and the jockey, actually. Just the whole story just had me I don't know, goosebumps, just like excited. Like it was kind of how when I was obsessed with the Artemis 2 a month or so ago.
The new obsession. Okay, you have to tell me the whole story though, because I know she's the first female trainer to ever win the Kentucky Derby, which snaps like.
Oh my God. No, yes. Fuck yes, queen. And so the only way I even knew about it, because I don't watch TV, I don't watch sports, I certainly don't watch the Kentucky Derby, but I saw a clip on Instagram of the moments when she's realizing her horse, what's his name?
Golden
Tempo. He had 23-1 odds. He was in the back. You couldn't get any further back. So he came from 23rd place to win the fucking Kentucky Derby, and nobody expected him to. Nobody expected her to. First female trainer to have a Kentucky Derby winner ever. But to watch the clip of her and the people around her when they are realizing that their horse is going to win is like, I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it again.
They go
it's just
mental.
Fantastic. Mental. And I didn't even realize what I was watching at the time. I'm just like watching it, And then I rewatch it and I read about it and read about her. And it's just, fan-fucking-tastic. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about women who are breaking records. They're breaking, what's it called? The glass ceilings in so many different ways. And they are refusing to stay on the sidelines. They are stepping into the leadership roles, and we are here for it.
And it's really interesting because, where the patriarchy, there it is. Everybody's giving her shade now after this because, of course, we can't just celebrate it for too long, God forbid, because she's electing not to run him in the Preakness, which, if y'all know anything about horse racing, is the second race in the Triple Crown. I can't remember what the last one is. What's the last one? Kentucky Derby, Preakness.
Downs, or is that golf? Something Downs?
Something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, so she decided not to run him in the Preakness, and literally people are like, well, why aren't you doing it? And she said she wanted to give him a little more time following such a tremendous effort. His health, happiness, and long-term future will always remain our top priority. Hello!
And can I just say that screams feminine energy?
Right?
Not that there's one that's better than the other, but
yes,
actually considering the health and wellness of her athlete.
Animal.
Right? And looking at the long-term goals, not just like, oh my God, we got to push and we got to win and we got to hustle and we got to grind and we got to win. And so I didn't even realize that piece. So I love her even more.
Yeah. And I think that was pretty new. But so for those of you that don't follow horse racing, this is 152 years of this race. 152 years of this race. And she is the first female to win it. And of course, remember, right? This is during a period of time also when women weren't allowed to be trainers. There's a lot of that happening, which is exactly what we're talking about now, how women are now entering this leadership space in sports that it hasn't been done before and just killing it.
When you think about it, I mean, it kind of really makes me angry. You think about all these different arenas where women just were not invited to the table. It just was, you think about when we grew up.
Yep.
Even just movies, like Tony loves to watch old school movies, from the 40s and it's it's all white men.
Yeah.
In all of these movies, in all of the important roles, right? And so obviously, same thing for sports. Women were not even included. They were supposed to be in the stands with the pretty hats, just demurely clapping, for the men who were doing the things. And here they come, and she freaking wins it 23-1. I love it. It's incredible.
Yeah, it reminds me of kind of what Princess Anne did back in the 70s, right? Because, women were doing that kind of stuff in eventing, which was the sport she participated in. So in 1971, she won an individual gold medal in eventing, and it was followed up by her daughter, who actually Zara Phillips won the world championships of eventing. And, same kind of thing, hardcore sport. And here she is, this pampered royal, and nobody really thought she was going to get on the down and dirty. So again, I think that there's been inklings of this, but there's just been so many things for women to, get past that I think it's been difficult. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL because, of course, that's been the last bastion of that. But it's not just horses.
And listeners, I want you to stick with us. Even if you're not a sports fan, or if you think this episode isn't really going to apply to you, or, because you're not into sports, stick with us. Like, just hang with us on this, because what this does for us, for me and for you and for Lisa and for all of us as women, is what these women are doing in sports opens up the possibilities for all of us in whatever arena is important to us, not just necessarily sports, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later.
It means opportunity.
Definitely. And so so the Seattle Seahawks, who won the frickin' Super Bowl, owned by a woman, which I didn't realize until after they won. And I thought, well, isn't this fantastic? And I don't really know the full story, but I think she took over the team. I think her brother owned it.
I do.
Do you
and
know?
I have an even better part of this story. That's gonna you're gonna love it. So her name is Jody Allen, and she is the late Paul Allen's sister. So it was owned by his family.
Oh, what sister? Okay.
Here's the best part. Okay.
Yeah.
Now she could have gone out with a bang, right? Like Super Bowl winning team. Like you were never as valuable as then. So she decided to sell the team. But here's the kicker. She's donating all the proceeds to philanthropy. Mic drop.
Okay. Can somebody explain to us on this podcast how it is women in leadership roles, the matriarchy? How is the matriarchy not a fucking thing? The way that women lead, I mean, our world would be in our country would be in such a better place if we would just the men would step aside and just let the women lead. Because
all the backlash with Bezos and Sanchez over the Met Gala and this, that, and the other, right? And then we've got, Mackenzie Scott, is it Scott Bezos? I don't know. She was his ex-wife at any rate. And Melinda French Gates just some of the wealthiest people in the world, period, end of story. And they are the biggest philanthropists ever, right? I'm sorry, but you don't hear Elon Musk doing that. Apparently he only gives to his charities, which I don't even know how that works, but whatever.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about Elon Musk?
Yes,
please. I read.
Yes.
I just saw the headline, or I saw the title. I didn't dig into it. So listeners, if you need to correct me on some things, that's fine. I'll take it. But, Rihanna has her makeup brand, her big Fenty. Brand, Fenty, right? She just signed Elon's trans daughter, who he has disowned.
Of course.
So Rihanna just brought her on as, I'm assuming a model or something like that for her brand, right? So
love it.
Yay.
Yeah, so I thought you'd appreciate that little factoid about that.
I love that.
I mean, said no one ever.
Yeah. So, and you brought up Jessica Campbell when we started talking about this episode, who is the first full-time female assistant coach in the NHL, the Seattle Kraken. I didn't even know that was a team, but I love the name. But I mean, in NHL, you think football.
Yeah, talk about bro culture. I mean, holy, what just happened at the Winter Olympics, people? Bro culture don't get more manosphere than that, y'all.
Right. So now we don't just see women in sports as the Dallas cheerleaders or what? I'm trying to even think how we would maybe in the Olympics we would see women in sports.
When the NFL was okay, we'll let women commentate, but they have to be on the field and not in the announcer booth because they just need to stand there and look pretty.
Oh, good Lord.
Right?
But they are breaking doors down.
Yes,
they're coaching NFL teams now. They're running organizations. They're reffing, calling games, and they are making executive decisions, and we love it.
Hey there, I'm Lisa Corachella McDowell, your Midlife Pacific Northwest princess, here to guide you in the art of next leveling your life. I'm passionate about women's health and wellness in midlife, especially for moms parenting kids with unique needs like I do. I truly believe we can learn, grow, advocate, and care for the planet while taking care of ourselves and our families. And I'd love to help you do the same. And I'm beyond excited to tell you about my membership for maxed out mamas just like me the Empowered Parent Collective. It's a space for parents to confidently advocate for their kids, build inclusive communities, educate themselves, and find balance and support along the way. To find out more about the Empowered Parent Collective, my classes, wellness offerings, parenting tips, advocacy resources, and exclusive Drinks with the Girls goodies, head to nextlevellifewithlisa.com. Let's survive and thrive in the messy middle together.
Back to Jessica Campbell for a second. Here's the other thing I love, right? The coolest merch ever. I have a friend that lives in Seattle. I'm always like, could you hook me up with some Kraken merch? Because, like, right? Just saying. So, of course, the female coach team has the best merch and the best mascot.
Love it.
Yeah, so Karen kind of touched on this, right? But when we were growing up, that was not how the world looked. I mean, in general, right? But sports leadership, oh, please. That was like a boys' club, male coaches, male owners, male authority, male commentators. Like, women were present, right? But, like, if they, like I said, if they let them on the field, that was like a miracle. And it was just supportive roles. And the interesting thing, in my opinion, is I think a lot of it happened when either the owners would pass on or their daughters would start working with them. So, for example, I think about the Dallas Cowboys owner, and I can't remember his name. I believe his daughter's name is Charlotte, but she is very active in the team. And Dallas Cowboys will go to her, like she runs the foundation. I think about Jeannie Buss and the Lakers. You know, she was the brains behind the Showtime years with the Lakers, right? Jerry Buss. That's when she came of age in that organization. And by all accounts, apparently made some fantastic marketing suggestions that really put that team on the map. So I think that women kind of came in the back door that way. Mm-hmm. I know there's more women that came in that way as owners, but off the top of my head, I can't remember who. I think there are a couple women that inherited the teams from their husbands, but right. So they kind of like came in the back door and people
in the
were
loophole.
Like, oh yeah. Oh wait, they can do this too. Gosh dang it.
Right.
Hello.
And fun fact, so we were Lakers fans because, you know, we lived not in LA, but on the outskirts of LA. So yes, big time Lakers fans.
It's kind of hard not to be like, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but it's like growing up in the 80s in Los Angeles, like it wasn't even like a sports thing. You just were like, everybody knew Showtime. Everybody knew the Lakers. Like, it was just part of the DNA.
And then we had the Shaq and Kobe era. So that was a whole other animal. And it was fun time. So yeah, so seeing Jeannie be involved in this intimately in this huge, you know, conglomerate organization was pretty cool. And there's a Netflix special.
Yes, I think it's a series actually with Kate Hudson.
It's a series.
I think
it's cute.
Maybe
very
on
good.
Second season, but apparently it's kind of loosely based on her story, and I think she consults on it too. So I got to put that on my list.
Yeah, no, it's very good. We saw season 1, very, just fun, light. At first I was like, oh, this is going to be cheesy. I'm not going to watch this. And it ended up, we got sucked in. So yeah, season 2 is out now. We got to watch that. But
sweet. On the list.
So think about what is happening to us as we little babes. We're young kids, we're young women growing up watching, you know, our families watch sports, watching our, you know, dads or whatever watch sports. And so what do we learn as women? It's like, if you want to be a leader, you have to be dominant, aggressive, you know, no emotion. You have to be loud, you know, kind of kind of an asshole, really.
Yeah. Not kind of.
Right. And so that's kind of what you think. And then you just think, oh, these roles are not available to women because women aren't traditionally, stereotypically like that. And so now they're stepping in, they're leading in this way. And I don't want to say feminine, because when you see these women, like the coach of, she was I believe, assistant coach of the 49ers. They went to the Super Bowl, Katie Sowers. So yeah, when you see, I mean, these women that are in these roles, you know, not all of them are quote unquote like feminine. I just think the way that they lead, the way that they show up, you know, more collaborative even, right? Yeah. And good Lord, donating, you know, selling the freaking team. I can't even wait to see how much she sells it for, or maybe she already did.
it's like, and the thing that's crazy is she announced it, I want to say, right after the trophy was handed to her, and basically, like, biggest audience in the world, right? Like, talk about holding herself accountable. It was like, yep, and I'm doing the proceeds.
And talk about confidence, like knowing exactly the stage, like reading the room, knowing exactly the feelings that I'm sure people were going to have about it. And I love that. I love it.
The other thing I love about that is it's like, we're starting to hear more people say, how much freaking money do you need? Okay.
Right.
Like,
yes.
Like, really? Okay. How much do you really need? She's Paul Allen's heir, like one of the founders of Microsoft. Girlfriend is not hurting for money. Like, this was just continuing her brother's legacy. She literally doesn't need it. But like Manosphere bro culture, oh no, they would have been cashing that check right away. No, she's using it for philanthropy. Hell, I'm so there for that.
Bring on the matriarchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not like the current system is working, for God's sakes.
Okay, and you would think that over the decades, people would kind of think, wow, okay, yeah, this really isn't working. Maybe we should try something new. Although, if anybody knows how patriarchy runs, it's like, it has a white knuckle grip on power, so they're not going to get rid of that. So
no, wouldn't want to try a different way. Well, and again, we've talked about this before. It's like, you go back in the not so distant future, and it was all a matriarchy.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to bring up the patriarchy.
Of course. We can't escape it.
Shows up. Yeah, and so here we are, right? Children of the 80s, most of us, if you're in your 50s at least. And what I love is now our daughters, like, it's almost boring. Well, yeah, of course we have a female NFL coach. And of course we have a female NHL coach. And yeah, of course she's selling this hugely profitable team and donating it to philanthropy. Like, they're not, I love the fact that it's not a new idea. Like, how awesome is that?
Right. And to your point, like, our girls get to see these things happening in real time, and it becomes normalized.
Yeah. And I feel like there's always kind of been this culture. I mean, like, let's face it, being an NFL coach, like, that's your life. Like, there's not much you do with your quote unquote off time, right? That what I'm noticing is this idea that women are leading and doing this, but they're not abandoning who they are. Like, they're not just selling their soul and being, that's all they do, and it's one dimensional, and, not taking anything away from men who are very committed, or even women that do it that way. But I like this idea that there's a different way to lead. It doesn't have to be this bro culture nonsense. And I'm here for it.
Right. Because I think in the past, we as women might feel like, and even now, we feel like we have to be something other than who we are in order to fit into some of these roles, like a leadership role. I mean, you've been in corporate. I'm sure you see that all the time. Women who want to go up the ladder, feel like they have to be a more quote unquote masculine, right? But this, seeing women show up this way in sports, it gives us an opportunity to not worry about fitting into whatever box they need us to fit into in order to quote unquote be a leader. We get to be ourselves. So we're finally seeing women take up space being themselves. And by the way, I think when you see women going first, all it does is give us a big fat permission slip to go next. And I'm here for that. I love it.
Absolutely.
Because I am obsessed with the word reclamation right now, because that is what my free Facebook group is called. That is what my new Substack is called, the Reclamation Lounge, because I am here for not women reinventing themselves, but women reclaiming all the things that we've had to put on a shelf or that we felt were not available to us. And so it is literally this era of reclamation, right? And so the more I was, thinking about this episode, that's what is happening. It's like women are reclaiming their visibility, their authority, their freaking ambition. And this was traditionally a space that we didn't think was for us. So I think just for me, it's just an exclamation point on the end of the sentence, of what am I ready to reclaim for myself? I guess that would be a question mark, not an exclamation point. But it lets us start asking that. What do I want to, what am I ready to reclaim?
And also, I want to make it clear, we're here for reinvention too. Like, we've done a lot of episodes on reinvention. So not that that's a bad thing, but this is a different thing, right? This is stepping into power that was already always there, but just wasn't able to be channeled in the right direction, I guess you want to say, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm here for the pivots and I'm here for the changes. I just feel like sometimes with the word reinvention, we get in our mind that we have to be somebody we're not, you know, that we have to turn into something better or what a different version of ourselves, which, you know, of course, we go through all these different metamorphoses in life and we do change over time. But I just think it's almost, you lose power. Or for me, when I think of it, it's not as powerful as reclamation, which I really vibe with these days.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think to everything there's a season, right? Which we always talk about. I just think that the kind of the seed for this episode came about because it was like, oh my gosh, Kentucky Derby. Oh my gosh, Seahawks. Oh my God. It just feels like all of a sudden this is popping. You know, things, you know, like when you stick the popcorn in the microwave and you're like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then all of a sudden it starts little pops, right? And then it just goes. That's kind of what this feels like to me.
I love that. Is that a metaphor? Analogy. Analogy.
Sure.
I'm trying to channel my English teacher mother. It's not working. Mom.
Yeah. It's not a simile because it doesn't use like or as.
Yes, it's not a simile. Yeah.
My name is Karen Shatafian, and I am a shameless coffee addict and empowerment coach for women, and my love language is authenticity. My mission is helping women unapologetically design a life they're in love with. Because what the hell are we waiting for? My website, KarenShatafian.com, has all my coaching packages and free offers like my Midlife Reclamation Guide. In it, you'll find tools to help you decide how to create the most inspired and empowered version of yourself and your life. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram talking about ways women can show up for themselves after decades of showing up for everyone else. Join me as we throw off the shackles and live our best freaking lives. See the show notes for all the details. Cheers.
So for you listeners, you know, maybe your version of this, you know, or maybe your reclamation, it's not coaching an NFL team or winning the Kentucky Derby, but maybe it's finally starting your business or having that hard conversation in your marriage or becoming financially independent or setting freaking boundaries. Yeah. Or even just wanting more from this stage in life. Whatever your reclamation looks like, use these women leaders in sports as your fire, your fuel.
I think it's also interesting that, I mean, definitely women's sports are getting huge. It's a $2.5 billion industry now, billion with a B. Okay. So there's
That's
money
insane.
there,
I love that.
right? I know. But I think it was like, for a while, it was like, oh, well, it's just the women, right? Like even my own husband admits, I remember when we were first married and, you know, in the days where the national women's soccer team was kind of getting going and he was really like saying stuff like, it's not the same sport. I was like, are you for real right now? Right. Of course, that went down like a lead balloon. And I'm like, I think I was either pregnant at the time or had just had our daughter. And I was like, really? You're going to tell your daughter she's not playing the same sport? Well, it's just different. They yell more. I'm like, they yell more? So you can imagine how well that went down. But as the years have gone by, he's like, why was I being such an idiot? And I was like, because it's ingrained in you. He's like, those girls can play. Like they get out there and they, you know, like the famous meme of Abby Wambach, right? Like gouged out face, like blood everywhere. And she's just like, let me fix my hair and I'm going back in. And like the guys get like a little blood on their shirt and then they have to go out and, you know, it's this whole big thing. So, but I do think it's easy to at one time it was like, okay, well you can coach or lead women's sports, but like leave the real sports to the boys. That's falling by the wayside. I think that's kind of the exciting piece right now is, I mean, Seattle friggin' Seahawks, people. Like it doesn't get much bigger than that.
Super Bowl winner. Zuh.
Zuh. Well, and I think the other thing is it's not just happening in certain areas of sport, right? So like Kim, I don't know how to pronounce her name, NG Ning, I probably butchered it. I'm going to bet it's Vietnamese. So listeners, if you're Vietnamese and know how to pronounce that, hit me up. First female general manager in Major League Baseball. She's now running the freaking Miami Marlins. Hello. Becky Hammond, first full-time female assistant coach in the NBA. Now she's head coach of the WNBA's Las Vegas team. Yeah.
Kim Ing, or Ng.
Yeah, I don't.
How do you say that?
Here, I don't know, but I'm going to look it up.
Kim, she was the first female GM for the Miami Marlins, but now...
Okay, I got it. It's Cantonese. It's most accurately pronounced like or, ooh, I can't do that. NGH, produced in the back of the throat without a vowel. Ooh, I don't know. I need a vowel typically. Ing, ing, or ing. Okay. Apologies that we're butchering this, but anywho.
So she did lead the Miami Marlins up until from 2020 to 2023. But now she is the current commissioner of the Athletes Unlimited Softball League, the AUSL, which she got that role in 2025. So, I mean, I love women in high power positions making decisions.
What's so interesting about this is that these women had to do this without a playbook, right? The option was like, be like a man or go off script. Right? Taking it back to the trainer of the Kentucky Derby winner. Apparently, this woman was on a pre-med track. Pre-med, people. Pre-freaking med. And then she just was like, nope, I'm going to train horses. So, talk about rolling the dice.
I mean, and just imagine it's not even confidence. Like, imagine the self-trust and the I don't give a fuck. I'm doing this. I love this. I want this. I'm good at it. Right. And I just think if we saw more women fully being able to step into that piece, like imagine what our lives would be like. Imagine what the world would be like if all of us felt that level of, I don't even want to say confidence because I feel so much bigger than that.
The other thing I really like about this idea is it's like, they're just rewriting the script. Ooh, hair looking fabulous, YouTubers. Hey, that's special. They're just rewriting the script. It's not like they're stepping into these positions and doing it like the guys do it. They're doing it a whole different way and doing all sorts of different things. Like, said no one ever, hey, what are you going to do after you won the Super Bowl? Oh, I'm going to sell the team at the peak of its profitability and donate it all to charity.
Yeah.
Like, if that's not a mic drop, I don't freaking know what is. But just this idea of leading differently. So all these other things that supposedly make a great leader in sports, they're like, nope, I'm going to do it my way.
Well, and that's the beautiful piece about it. It's like these women don't feel like they have to, I mean, maybe they did in the beginning. Maybe they did when they were first busting down these doors. They felt like they had to shapeshift into what everybody was expecting, but now they're just at this point where they just get to fully be themselves. The blinders that have been on us all, men and women, while we've been shaped by the patriarchy, it's exciting that I feel like those are starting to come off a little bit.
Yeah. And again, we talk about this like, y'all, the patriarchy doesn't just suck for women. Like, it keeps men down too. And now here we have these women that are stepping into leadership roles and doing it differently and showing us that there's all sorts of ways that you can do this thing that's been done one way for, the Derby 152 years. So how cool is that there's different ways to do this? Like, you can be a man and not be that typical kind of bro culture, manosphere, kind of toxic masculinity thing. By the way, there's an episode coming on that one too. We've been struggling with that one, the manosphere, because that's a toxic soup. Like, that makes the patriarchy look like child's play. But I think we've got some good ideas. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
I was like, that's not the adjective I was thinking of, but you go, girl.
She says apprehensively. The other piece that I love about this is maybe it's the audacity. Maybe that's the word I was looking for before.
That's
the audacity word. Because the audacity that these women have to just, throw their hat in the ring to begin with is enviable for sure. but also just like the unapologeticness, like the owner, what's her name of the Seahawks?
Yep.
Just
Jody Allen.
Jody Allen just declaring that they just won. The confetti's still floating in the air. And yeah, she's making this declaration. And so I just think the unapologeticness and the audacity of these women, it's like showing up for more money, more recognition, more power, more visibility, right? And then that trickles down to me and to you, because this is a shift that can happen for us too, not just for women in sports.
Yeah, I just can't get over the fact that she made that announcement in that way, in that venue. I mean, like, that's the ultimate accountability partner. Like, there is no bigger audience at a given moment than right then when she dropped that. I just can't imagine the permission slip that would have to exist for anybody else to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and people in the background being like, no, we don't want to commit to that. I don't know. That just blows me away.
I wonder who she consulted with, about that. Like I'm just trying to imagine those conversations, and did people try to talk her out of it, or?
I bet they did. She's the owner. So at the end of the day, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's not it's a publicly traded company. She's the owner. She can do whatever the hata she wants to do.
Yeah. And I think she, took the team over in, was it 2019 or 2018, something like that?
It sounds about right, because Paul Allen, I believe, passed about then. Hold on. Yeah. Let me consult with the Drinks with the Girls research department.
So she had some years under her belt to develop her confidence, I guess, in that role as owner.
Okay. You were very close. October 2018, following the death of her brother. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Looking into this further, what's interesting is it says, following Paul Allen's will, which mandated that his sport assets be sold and the proceeds donated to Philanthropy, her tenure in charge of the team concluded when the Paul G. Allen estate officially commenced a formal sale process for the franchise. So can you imagine, like, all the pressure on her to be like, oh, just kidding, I'm not going to do it. But carrying her brother's wishes forward and saying, yep, here we go.
And as somebody right now who is currently in that process of trying to execute a trust of somebody's wishes who's no longer here,
true that.
Like, I'm sure she has, because, people, especially with that level of money, I'm sure there were people coming out of the woodwork who were like trying to convince her otherwise, so maybe they could get a piece of that pie or something like that. But yeah, props to her for literally just executing her brother's wishes. And how great that those were his wishes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Here I was thinking that was her cockamamie idea, but it's a great one.
Either way, I'm here for it, right? And I think it's great that she was able to make that happen. I mean, again, going back to the fact that you're dealing with a trust right now in a state. I have not done this yet, and I'm dreading it. So Karen's in the middle of that right now, and it is soul sucking, and I'm just watching her from the sidelines, so I can't even imagine.
It's a little stressful.
Just a little bit.
Okay, quick pause. Have we talked about the Pod Squad lately?
Oh, the Pod Squad. You mean our email list /VIP lounge /digital wine club?
Exactly. So listeners, if you're not on it yet, you're basically making life harder for yourself when it comes to podcasts.
Like trying to scroll for show notes while speed walking on a treadmill. Wait, what was that link again? Oh, no. Grab the side rails.
Or pulling up that book we mentioned while you're in the Starbucks line and then realizing everybody else moved up 3 cars and now you're that woman.
We've all been there. That's why we made the Pod Squad. You'll get new episode alerts every week with direct links. Easy to listen, easy to share.
And show notes straight to your inbox. So when we drop a life-changing product, book, hot tip, or yummy new drink, you're not rummaging through your memory like a woman searching for her reading glasses when they're on top of her head.
It's organized, it's helpful, it's for you, babes.
So join the Pod Squad. The link is in the show notes. Just tap it.
Snacks, sarcasm, solidarity.
And obviously, fighting the patriarchy.
We write at dawn.
I have to just, I didn't think about her when we were working on the notes for this episode, but Sydney Carter If you don't follow her, go check her out on Instagram. She is she's a powerhouse. I love it. So she's a former professional basketball player, and she is currently the assistant coach and director of player development for the University of Texas women's basketball team. And her style, her fashion is next level. And I love it so much. She was coined the pink pants coach because one game she showed up with her pink leather pants during a game.
Nice.
So she will coach from the sidelines in these rhinestone-filled cute skirts, her stilettos, her pink leather pants. Of course, she got a lot of backlash. Of course, people didn't like that she was quote unquote unprofessional or distracting.
Pat Riley's out there in designer suits in the 80s, okay? And people are like, oh, look how debonair and awesome he is.
Right.
The hell?
No, exactly.
Burns my
and so
bacon.
she just doubled down. She doubled down on all of it. And so she is an advocate for authenticity and self-expression. And talk about unapologetic. But if you have a chance to, and she's fierce, by the way, she's an amazing basketball coach. Like you can see her on the sidelines. And then the way that her outfits are just next level. I love her so much. But I love that, like to exactly what you just said, Lisa, like the double standard that is always, around for women, especially when women are trying to be in quote unquote men's roles. I just think that her being this loud and just showing up as fully herself is just a big middle finger, to the systems and to the patriarchy.
And I think that's it. They're stepping into these positions of power just being who they are. Like they're not changing themselves to do something different, right? So, for example, the other one I think about is Jessica Berman. She is the commissioner of the National Women's Soccer League. And apparently she negotiated a landmark 240 million. People are watching women's sports, y'all. The media rights, and she shifted the league leverage from team owners directly to the athletes. Name one male sports league where that's the case. I don't know that the NFL, no, that is not in the players' favor. Like, yeah, they may make money, but they're not getting wealthy like owners are. That's incredible.
Matriarchy.
There was an article that came out, this looks like, actually within the last 6 months. So October 22nd, 2025 in Forbes that talks about America's most powerful women in sports, period, and like end of story, all of them, right? And so it lists all these women, but what's interesting is kind of the background for it. So I'll just throw some facts. So it says that in 2024, the revenue for all of women's sports surpassed $1 billion for the first time. It's projected to hit $2.5 billion by 2030. According to a recent report by McKinsey, the firm that does all that stuff, this is crazy. Revenue from women's sports is growing at more than 4 times the rate of men's sports. 4 times the rate of men's sports, okay? The WNBA just signed a $2.2 billion media rights deal and quadrupling the value of the league's previous contracts of virtually ensuring that viewership records will continue to be broken. And the thing that I really like, the quote from this article that I feel like sums up kind of what we're tripping over ourselves to say is it's this idea that says what distinguishes the women on this list from their peers is not just their current power, but the ways they're leveraging that influence to shape the future of sports. And I think that's really kind of the bottom line here is it's not that men haven't been trying to do things differently. Like I think of Billy Bush with Moneyball and kind of how he changed the face of baseball. So I'm not saying like men weren't innovating before, but it just seems like women are really stepping into this power and doing some really unique and different things all across the sports world. And that's, I think, what we're all noticing.
Well, and I think the difference too is, and whether or not women are doing this intentionally or not intentionally, but it's like when women are breaking all these doors open, they are reaching behind and pulling another woman with them. So whereas if men are being innovative or if men are, doing things differently, well, it's like, that's great. But it's like women are doing these things, and just showing up, being who they are, And then that leaves the door open for other women to follow, which is the really amazing, cool piece of all of this. This is a little side note, but kind of related. Have you seen the bars that are, they just show women's sports?
No. Love that.
So there's a bar in Long Beach. Oh my gosh, my Southern California girlies, my Long Beach girlies. What is that? There's a name of a bar in Long Beach and they just show women's sports. And I remember I just stumbled across it and I thought, this is so cool. Because first of all, normalizing that, people go to bars to watch women's sports too.
The other woman I want to bring up here is Serena Williams, queen, right? 23-time. Oh my God, that's insane. 23-time Grand Slam champion. Holy mother of God. 95 million in total prize money. But what she has done with that wealth and power, she's invested directly into women's sports. She holds stakes in the NWSL's Angel City FC, so soccer, the WNBA's Los Angeles Sparks, and she has a YouTube channel and does all these other things, but she's the founder of Serena Ventures. It's an early stage venture capital firm that has built a portfolio of 85 tech-focused startups, a majority of which are female founded, and 111 million in funding since its 2014 inception. So this idea, like Karen said, that they're reaching behind them and bringing other women along with them, which that I think is absolutely new and unique and different. And I don't know that we've seen that in general as a rule with men in men's sports. I think that's kind of the bottom line of like the sea change.
Yeah. And I mean, Serena obviously is just a phenom,
The goat.
but I didn't even know that about her. So I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
And she's not alone. Like I'm looking through this article, I'll link it, but like Simone Biles is doing stuff like that. I mean, just some huge names that are feeling, I think, the urgency, the responsibility, frankly, the vision to reach behind and bring other women along with them is, I mean, that's how real change is made, is when women do that. So we're here for it. And I think we're stumbling across this because, I mean, it's not like we're on this episode having a debate about this topic. It's just like the awesomeness cannot be contained for all of this. So we hope that we've inspired you guys to maybe follow some of these women.
So what do you think of all the things we've talked about? Because we've kind of been here, there, and everywhere. We're trying to get across our vision for this episode. But what is the one thing that you really want women to leave this episode with? Like our women, not the NFL coaches out there or the Serena Williams, but the women that are listening to our show. Yeah. What do you want them to walk away with?
I mean, I don't think you need to go out and buy an NFL team. But hey, if that's what you want and you have the money to back it up, more power to you. But I do think that, I don't know, as a woman that's trying to make her way in corporate America right now without drowning, I question myself all the time. Like, is this the right thing to do? Should I be doing this? Like, what if this? What if that? And I think what this tells me is it's okay to have a vision of a path and a place to go that people haven't gone before you. Like, just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it isn't a good thing. And I love the fact that now there's role models for that. So for me personally, what I'd like to think about and what I would encourage other women to think about is, there are other paths and other ways of doing things that are even better, that magnify the journey that you're on for others. So to me, that's what I'm taking from this. How about you?
I just fall back on that audacity piece and the unapologeticness of some of these women. Unapologeticness, is that a word?
Sure it is now.
I think so. An apology?
Drinks for the Girls dictionary coming soon.
But just let's stick with audacity, and I want that for all of us, and whatever that looks like, however much more audacity we need than what we currently have. Because as we step into our next chapter, whether we're in our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, right, we're stepping into this next chapter. So let's step into it with the audacity of some of these women leaders in sports that are role models, like Lisa says. Right? Let's take a little piece of that. Even if it is just like, Sydney, the coach of the Texas women's basketball team, like even if it's just showing up in your sequin dress, even if it's just like being unapologetic about how you're going to dress, who you are, how you're going to show up, what you're going to ask for. Because, what are we waiting for? Right? The clock is ticking. So if we are going to start reclaiming some of these pieces for ourselves, now is the time to do it. And if you need help or inspiration, join me in the Reclamation Lounge on Facebook, on Substack. We talk about all sorts of things like this. So we would love for you to join us.
Love it. All right, listeners. Well, thank you for joining us. As usual, all the things. Drinks with the Girls 2.0 is coming this summer. We're really excited to be expanding to another platform. Stay tuned for more information about that. If you have time, please leave us a 5-star review or a rating. You don't even have to leave a review. Just if you're an Apple Podcast, just scroll down, hit the stars, 5, not 1, if you wouldn't mind. But I actually was listening to a podcast recently. It was saying ratings are a big part of kind of what tweaks the algorithm. So definitely that. Please forward us to a girlfriend that you think might be interested in this. If you all on your text chain were texting about the Kentucky Derby, I know I was with my girls, and I was actually at a Kentucky Derby themed dinner at the time, which was super cool. Send them this episode. If you're a Seahawks fan, and you have girlfriends that are Seahawks fans, send them this episode.
Absolutely. That's how we are going to step into the new iteration of Drinks with the Girls, by spreading the word and by talking to girlfriends and talking about the things that we all, as women over 40, want to hear about. Thank you for joining us. We love that you're here. We love you. Hop in our DMs on Instagram. Just slide in our DMs. Let us know what's going on. Let us know how you felt about this episode. And we will see you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.